Hey guys, my name is Chelsea and thank you for tuning into my channel, The Lavender List. Today we are going to be talking about love at first sight, the validity of love at first sight. I had promised everyone on Instagram that I was going to make this video, and so here we are 2 months later. And I had also asked everyone on Instagram to send in their responses on what their experiences were with love at first sight. I got some really interesting responses that I want to share with you guys, just a few of them, and then I just want to share my insight on this, and then I just want to continue the conversation with y'all. So be sure to like and subscribe, and please comment down below, your experience with love at first sight, how you interpret it. So we can dive into. My friend Peter responded and said, let me find it. Okay. I define love as just the feeling, not like, oh, love is hard, you gotta work if you're in love. So yeah, I do believe in love at first sight. And they actually expanded a bit more. Let me go to my DMs. And said, people define love differently. Some people think of love as something that takes time and work and effort to get to, like in a marriage several years in. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to be in love at first sight because it takes time to earn that emotion. And yeah, that totally is love, but I think it's broader than that. I think love is also that pit in your stomach feeling like a sudden swell of warm, growing goodness when you meet someone who just absolutely strikes you. That is love as well. And goddamn, I don't want to live in a world where that feeling isn't love. Very beautifully put, Peter. Thank you for sharing that. I also received, this is actually, I think this one is my favorite response I received from my friend B. B said, I think you can choose to be or not to be the type of person that's susceptible to love at first sight. Also, the feeling that possibly less self-aware people fall into either category by way of chance. So I don't think it definitely exists, but I think it exists for people who are susceptible to it. That's a very interesting hot take. I'm obsessed with that response. Someone responded saying, no, but definitely lightning bolt attraction. Someone stares at you a certain way and you know. So I think essentially this person is talking about lust at first sight, which is different, and I'm going to explain why. A friend Reem said, I believe it exists. I don't think they all work out in the long run, but I've experienced it. So an old coworker of mine said, from my own experience, I think I fall in love at least 5 times a day, but it's not love, more like romanticized delusions of what could be. So I think it's essentially attraction. And you can feel if the vibe is right, if you click or not, but won't know deep love until you get to know them more. Okay. My friend Asia said, never had it. Personally, I don't think it's real. I've only seen or heard about it in movies. Fair. So lastly, my friend Ross said, yes, I've experienced love at first sight. Didn't name it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Rewind. Okay, so lastly, my friend Ross said, yes, I've experienced love at first sight. Didn't name it as that at the time, but I've had the experience of making eye contact with someone and knowing that my life is changing in that moment, if I'm being honest. I think, honestly, I think love at first sight is real. Now, I'm not talking about lust at first sight, because that's just purely attraction, and that's different. I'm talking about love at first sight when you see someone and they move you, They move you in the way that, it's just their presence. I hate being the person that uses this word, but I am this person, but it's their energy. I'm just gonna succumb to my truth. I'm totally that bitch that uses energy. It's valid. But I think love at first sight is definitely when you see someone and their energy, their aura absolutely moves you and you feel drawn to them. And sometimes you can't really put your finger on it. Sometimes it's just little ways you see them interacting with their friends, or just the way that they're walking, or I don't know. It's like, it's gonna be different for everyone and for every case, but I think that love at first sight is definitely valid as long as you don't poison it with like further expectations, you know? Like you just keep that moment pure and true to itself. It's important to like hold those emotions with like a cupped hand versus like a fist where you're just like, this is what I'm feeling and I'm obsessing over this and like this is the truth and I have to like find this out and like talk to this person and like get married to them. Like, no. Zen. Let's reel it back. Let's look at our emotions here, you know, and savoring that moment, in the moment. And of course, like the fun part about, you know, love at first sight is definitely having like those daydreams of like what things can be, or like how it would feel to like have them in your arms, or whatever corny bullshit you have going on in your head. But I guess again, you're having having this beautiful moment with like a cupped hand. Like you're not necessarily trying to contort it to be something that it's not, because you don't know what it is. You just know that it feels good and it feels pure and true in that moment, you know? And it's, again, it's something very specific where it surpasses just the physical aspect of that person. I had written something about this whole idea, and I said, I think the purity of someone's emotions should be honored, or at least that's how I feel about it and how I try to live my life, you know, honoring that moment of just like tenderness towards someone. There's the love at first sight that's just purely actually just lust, but then there's the love at first sight that's more of this draw to a person's presence. Little things like the way that they move their body, not in a sexual way, like, but more like in a pedestrian way, you know, the way that they like pick up their drink. Not to be like overly romantic about everything, but that's who I am. I'm sorry, I can't be any other way. But you know, it's their mannerisms. And it might not be like this classic beauty, but to you, something's drawing you in physically. So I'm thinking about my best friend had told me the story about how they fell in love with someone through their voice in the radio. So they would drive home from work at the same time every night, and they stumbled upon this radio show that they don't know. I don't know what it is. They didn't really know what it was either, but they heard this person's voice on the radio, and it like absolutely captivated them. And every single day, on their way home from work, they like listened to this radio show, and like they just like absolutely fell in love with this person. Like they told me, they just had like this strong urge to take care of this person. And I don't know, just me talking to them and looking into their eyes and seeing this tenderness, it was just so sincere and it was real, you know. I definitely think that that's something that's special. It's something that's true, and sure, maybe it can be fleeting. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just kind of like all of that is valid. I think when it comes to emotions, I'm very much like a purist, you know. I'm kind of like, I want to like identify my emotions, understand them, and if I don't understand them, understand that I don't understand them. You know, not to like get into that whole rabbit hole, but I'm just very much kind of like, it's okay. I don't like, emotions don't have to be like textbook valid to be valid, I guess is what I'm saying. I think that you can have an experience, a moment with someone and be like, this person, I like love them, and then never see them again, and that's fine. I think there are different versions of love, especially depending on like your upbringing, what you've been surrounded by. You know, the way that I love is definitely different than like some of my other friends. You know, I have friends that like love and have partnerships in different ways that I do. What works for me doesn't work for everyone, but that doesn't invalidate someone else, you know, my way of loving or their way of loving. So I do think it's a complex situation, which is why there's so much art and text and theory, paintings, what have you, about love, because it's just, I just feel like it's always evolving. And even though it's been around forever and ever and ever, it feels brand new every single time. It feels like you're inventing something. Yeah, I don't know. I really can go off on a tangent with this love stuff, but I won't. But essentially, yeah, my hot take is love at first sight is valid and true and pure, as long as you don't poison it with like other expectations, like a future that maybe can't be. I don't let it surpass like the reality of what it was, I guess. You know? Yeah, love is my favorite subject, so I can talk about this all day, but I'm gonna pass the baton over to you guys because I want to know what you guys think. Comment below what your experiences have been, what your thoughts are. Again, like I'm thinking about B's response on like different people being more susceptible to it. Like, look at me, like I'm definitely, like if we're going based off of B, I'm definitely someone that's susceptible to it, and I claim that, sure. But yeah, so thanks so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end of this video, God bless you. That's all I gotta say. Some really cool plans for this channel. I want to do the series called Garden Talks, and maybe do like some solo garden talks, but then have like different guest speakers and stuff like that. And also if there's something specific that you all want to see, let me know.